Today we are making blueberry filling. Blueberry filling that is very rich, and you can use it in your toast, you can use it in your cereal, you can use it in your cake filling, you can use it in your donut as well. So we're using fresh blueberries. We'll be using half cup of water, and then you need your scale as well. We'll be using lemon juice. You can use fresh lemon and squeeze out the water. If you don't have this one, either one works perfectly, but for this one I'll be using my lemon juice that I bought from the store. And we also need corn flour. We're using 1 tablespoon of corn flour and sugar. So get your scale and measure everything. You want to get this right because you don't want to overuse. For me, I'll be using 300 grams of blueberries, but I ended up using everything anyway because it is never too much. So if you don't have a scale, this recipe is about 2 cups of fresh blueberries. Make sure you use fresh blueberries and not frozen ones to get best results like I did. So be using 1/3 cup of sugar. Measure that as well. If you have your cup is very important when you are baking or you are making anything. Be using 1 tablespoon of corn flour, and that is all about the ingredients. Place your pot on the fire and pour in your blueberries. Make sure you mash the blueberries with a masher before you pour it into your pot. This will help the cooking process to be faster. You don't want to skip this process. Next, you go in with your sugar, and next you also add your lemon juice. You can add a bit of water to it because blueberry, naturally does not have too much water like that. So going with a bit of water, and then you start mixing that until you get the consistency that you want. So going with your lemon juice, I'm using half tablespoon of lemon juice. Going with that, and then you start stirring this. You make sure you stir continuously because you don't want this to get burnt ever. So I'm using a non-stick pot. You can use a stainless steel pot for this if you have it, but just make sure you turn it from time to time so you don't get it burnt. This whole process took me about 15 minutes. Can you see the way I'm pressing the blueberry? You want to be sure to do this because it will help the cooking time as well. At this point it is getting thick, and then I'm going to mix my corn flour and pour it into that mixture to thicken it up. The corn flour helps to thicken up the filling. So just measure your corn flour and add a bit of water, mix that together, and then pour it into it. Once you add your corn flour, you are nearly done with this. You don't want to cook it for longer because the longer you leave it on the hob, the thicker it becomes. So for this, when we are ready to use it, you just allow it to cool down, and then you can put it in your airtight container depending on how you want to use it. And if you are not using it immediately, you could as well store it in your container and freeze it. Once you are ready to use it, just bring it out from your fridge or freezer and allow it to thaw, and you are good to go. So this is the consistency I have. If you want it to be thicker, leave it for a longer time and it's going to thicken up. But if you don't want it to be too thick, immediately you add your corn flour, just stir it in for about a minute or two, and you are good to go. At this point, my blueberry filling is ready. Can you just see how nice that is? This is very good. There are no additional chemicals, no preservatives whatsoever in this. It is all natural. You can use this for your family, in your toast, in your bread. It's very versatile. You could use it for practically everything you want. You can as well reduce the sugar if you don't want too much sugar in this. Can you just look at that? It is very nice. So I'll leave this. I've turned off the heat at this point, and I'll leave it to cool down before I pack it, and then I'm going to freeze this. So would you be trying this recipe? Do you think this is something you could make for your family and friends? You could use this in your cake as well, and your customers will thank you. Let me know in the comment section if you'll be trying this. See you in my next video. Bye.